What's going on YouTube? My name is ADCArtAttack, his name is Bob, and welcome back to a brand new series. Yeah, that's right guys, this is the first episode in a brand new series I'm starting, ADC in 10. And the purpose of this series is that I'll be giving you tips and tricks on how to draw characters in under 10 minutes. I think it's a great idea, it's something that's going to allow me to upload quite frequently and allow you to learn something from this channel. Now this is the first episode in this series and hopefully we will continue it, but that will be based on your response to this video. So please leave your comments down below at the end of this video, your thoughts on it, and if you enjoyed it and any changes you'd like me to make throughout the rest of this series. Of course, feel free to make any comments on characters you'd like me to draw in the future and show you how to draw them. So the character I'm drawing today, Goku. Now I want this series to be accessible to everyone, so I won't be using any high grade supplies. I'll be using supplies that most of us have access to, and if I do use any colored markers, I will list colored markers that are super cheap or alternatives to those markers that you can use that I think are really good. So speaking of all that, what will you need for today's drawing? So as I've just said, I'm going to be keeping everything on a budget. Now, most of the stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you today is things that we probably already have around the house. But if you don't have it around the house, they are very cheap and accessible to most people. And the first thing you're going to need is a pencil. Don't read into this one too much. I've got myself a standard Staedtler pencil. It's a basic school pencil. I don't think you need to go really expensive with pencils, so don't worry too much about that. Just get yourself a pencil. You'll need an eraser. Again, nothing special, just any old eraser will do, as long as you can get those pencil lines off the paper. And now for the fine liners. These are my Winsor & Newton fine liners. They're very expensive fine liners, they're very high quality fine liners, and they work fantastically well. I absolutely love using them. But I am aware not everyone can afford to get these and not everyone has them. So I'll be using a Sharpie marker, which is a very common household item. If you don't have a Sharpie, you can use any old pen you find around the house. Just try to get black ink. And for the coloring, right here, I've got two of the best leading standard markers you can use for coloring. On the right-hand side, we have a Copic marker, which comes in at a very high price. And on the left-hand side, we have the Winsor & Newton Pro and Brush markers, which are my preferred choice. However, I gotta say, these are professional grade markers and aren't accessible to everyone, so we won't be using them. Instead, today, I'll be using the Ohuhu brush markers. These are a new type of marker. They're extremely cheap, coming in at around $1 per marker. Depending on the set you get, they can come as low as 75 cents per marker. You will need an alcohol marker, which is why I've chosen these ones instead of choosing felt markers. And finally, the paper I'll be using today is just standard cartridge paper, nothing fancy, once again, just basic printer paper. It is something like 1 cent per sheet, probably even cheaper. And that is all you're gonna need for today's video. Okay, with all of that out of the way, it is time to start drawing Goku in under 10 minutes. So we're gonna get the timer up on screen right now, and yeah, in 3, 2, 1, let's get on with drawing Goku in under 10 minutes. Now, first things first, what you're gonna wanna do is get yourself a circle on this paper. Now, if you're not confident in drawing a circle, don't worry, I got a little tip to show you in just a second on how to draw it, but this is a very basic circle I'm putting down right here. But if you can't draw this circle, don't worry. Let's get ourselves a separate sheet of paper and I'll show you a little tip and trick that you can use to draw a perfect circle. Now, what you'll want to do is use this finger right here. This finger is super important, your pinky finger, because you can do this. This is going to allow you to dictate how large you make your circle. So we're going to hold our pencil just like normal and bring it down to the paper. We're going to rest ourselves on this knuckle and we're going to put that down on the sheet of paper. You can decide how wide you want the circle to be by moving the pencil in and out. And all you're going to want to do here is make sure there's no obstacles around you when you're doing this. Put your pencil down on the paper and turn the paper around. And all you want to do is get a nice smooth motion, ensuring that you do not move the knuckle, and there is your circle. Very easy to do. It's not the most perfect circle right there, but there is a circle nonetheless to work from. Great tip, but let's get on with drawing our Goku. So I'm gonna line myself back up again. And right, okay, so from here, all I wanna do is, he's at a bit of an angle here. So I'm gonna move his head slightly, and I'm gonna do that by just cutting it off there to show me that he is off to the side. And then I'm gonna break this circle up into a couple of pieces. So all I want is to sort of follow a nice symmetrical line. Now I am gonna draw fast, and I presume your one is gonna be a little bit better than my one because you're gonna have a little bit more time than me. I've only got 10 minutes to draw this character. I'm gonna do my best here to instruct you along the way, but it's probably not going to go well. Anyway, so yeah, I've drawn this little shape right here, and sometimes you might find it easier to turn the paper upside down and draw it like that. It's up to you how you want to draw it, which way you find is the easiest, but this is the sort of general shape you want, and something that just caps off over here slightly above the circle. But let's turn ourselves back around, and there you go, overcomplicating things there. But there is are we in the center? We're in the center. It's difficult to do this. Gosh. So we want to continue going on like this, and I actually don't know how long I've got because I don't have my timer with me, but I'm going to presume we're doing pretty good. But what I want to do here is make the ears slightly above where this jawline is there. So I'm going to make a couple of lines like that and come up relatively high just outside of our circle. About there is a good height for the top of the ear. We're gonna bring it up around and make the ears large. You know, be generous with it. These characters do have large ears, but there is no right or wrong way to draw the character's ears. They change over time. It's entirely up to you how you go about it. But I like to make these sort of really odd looking ear shapes right there. They stick out a little bit, but hey, that's okay. We'll do the neck coming down like so. The neck on the character, he's the young version of the Goku, so he has a very slim neck. He doesn't have much muscle right now. That's okay. We don't want to go over the top with this one. And he's innocent, so that's why we've got his head tilted as well. It adds to the entire effect of the character. So once we've got this, we can start to frame off a sort of head bust type shape. So we make a sort of couple of lines like this, and these are very basic lines because we'll be going over this with our fine liner later on, so don't worry too much about going crazy with your lines. But this is the basic shape. The chest will fall around this area here, and it will be cut off and divided by the undershirt just down here. There's your basic character, maybe a line for the neck, but there he is, done. So now we're gonna start doing the facial features, which are probably the most difficult features for many people, but they don't have to be. You can make these really easy. And all you wanna do here is follow this line here, come down to about halfway and cut across it. Now this, from the ear to the ear, is gonna be the center point of our nose. So what I'll do is, I'll come slightly off of our center point, I'll bring the nose in a straight line up here and make a decent sized nose. Don't go crazy with it, but we can change anything at later dates or later times. So remember, this is a pencil sketch. It's just designed to be there as a base for something to work from. We'll come over here slightly above these lines and just do a couple of these sort of innocent cheek marks. Just a few things to get them on the paper, because now they help us to decide where the eyes are going to be. And speaking of the eyes, we're going to be doing a big innocent eye. We need these big round eyes. So what we'll do is we're going to come to the edges here, leaving ourselves a minor gap just along the sides of them, and try to be equal on both sides. I know it's difficult with all the squiggly lines around, but just try to be equal. And you don't want to come too far off center either. So bring yourself a little bit outside of this center point, a little bit out, and this area here is going to be your circle. So what you can do from here is draw yourself a nice cross. And from there, measure the distance of this part, and this will give you the base and the side, and you want a somewhat even circle. So we can do the same thing over here. We'll do a line straight through it, and then we'll do another cross through there. And again, the base areas of where our circles are going to be. If you're not experienced at drawing circles, I normally would just draw a circle, but because I'm, doing this as a tutorial, an instructional guide, I'm going to use this sort of cross method right here. So all I'm doing is just filling out this sort of circle area, but I don't want the entire thing. I want to just make a sort of half circle, semicircle, whatever you want to call it. It just goes around like so, because up here, over on this point, let's flatten that out a little bit around there. Over here, we're going to do some inside circles, and these circles are going to be very close to the center point, and that was common with the early versions of Goku, but we'll do these really sort of nice, circles here. You can alter the size of them later on depending on how you feel, how they look, but you want these two circles. It looks somewhat cross-eyed, but it won't by the end of it once you add your color and everything. But at the moment, it will have that sort of cross-eyed look effect. And actually, I'm not even right here, so I'm gonna have to raise that up a little bit. But again, this is why we do it in pencil first, so we can make the alterations as we go. Now you want to put your eyebrows in. The eyebrows are probably another step that you do want to take. So give yourself, again, another decent step, or just follow from this point here and go around there. We're going to follow the same flow as the eyes, which is pretty much typical when you're doing the eyebrows. And all we'll do is we'll make these really basic sort of caterpillar things on his head. And so they'll just come down here. You don't want to go too close to the ear because you want to leave yourself a little bit of room for sideburns if you're going to include them. But the early Goku doesn't actually have these sideburns. He has sort of hair that flops over it. So what I'll do is I'll slap a bit of color on those just like that, just so you can sort of see them a little bit easier. The mouth, probably the most important part, we'll make a straight line across like this, and we'll bring, just as we come equal sides again past them, sort of in line with the pupils, we'll start to make that go up very slightly, and there is a side of a mouth, and just here we'll make a very small slight dent, and we'll bring this mouth towards a point down here. And all we're going to do now is start to move this, and my phone reference, which I'm actually working from, has just turned off, so there you go. But it's okay because I've got this character pretty much memorized. I have been drawing Goku for a very long time, so it shouldn't be that difficult, but drawing in 10 minutes is a real challenge. And don't look too bad. It's pretty skinny. So now you want to draw his, I guess you want to start doing his hair, which is quite an important part of this character. So we're going to come up just underneath this ear or wherever that is right there, and we're going to start doing these sort of spikes. Now you can color them in as you go. I'm doing them just as I go for clarity reasons, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. And this one's a little bit difficult to figure out the size of this one, so what I'm going to do is come up here. Don't be perfect with it, by the way. It's hair at the end of the day. Just make sure you get the right amount of them and just get them flopped down. You just want to throw them down and start off stiff. You know, start off very, very stiff with them, and we'll change them later on. So there you go. There's another hair strand right there. Go large with it, by the way. I like it when he has really big hair. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. So go really big with it and just make it enjoyable, make it look good. So we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to do another one that comes out, just the one hair strand right now, and we're going to bring it out here. A smaller one here. This one isn't as large as the rest of them, so we're going to bring that one down here. But by the way, you don't want to memorize all of this. You don't need to memorize all of it. You have the accessibility to get these characters. They exist. The character of Goku exists in the world. So don't worry too much about trying to remember it. You just want to, you know, you want to draw the character. And to draw the character, you're going to want to source the character. You want to get references. So just go in for that. I should actually do the hairline right here. So the hairline here falls in there. And all we're going to do is the sort of sideburn, which comes a little bit off center. Not a sideburn, the fringe. Comes a little bit off center here. And we'll just do a couple of lines that come down and ensure that you get, again, the right amount of hairs in there. So how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 sideburns. Okay, no problem. So a sideburn goes here and a sideburn over here. So we'll start with the main ones, the main strands, because they're sort of the focal point of the character. And don't be afraid about going over your lines, because this is pencil. It's okay. You can go over your lines with pencil because you can just erase them all later on. And we'll refine those later on when we use our fine liners. So we're doing a sideburn now. I'm going to bring this one down here, slap a sideburn on there. Same thing up here. We're going to bring this one around and come down and across like so. That's pretty good. There's one more. There you go. We'll slap the other one just in there. Very basic, very easy. We've sort of got our character come into shape. And remember, this is what you want. You want it to be very basic because these are pencil lines. The refinement comes later on when you start to use your fine liners. And once out the ears, probably another fun thing. All you want to do with the ears, the way I do the ears, everyone does ears differently. I just do this first line like that comes around in this sort of, I don't know what that shape is, but it just does this sort of thing. And then underneath it is one line here. And I don't use references for ears because I just like to draw the ears my way. But we'll do it like this, a little bit there. This is a sort of hole of the ear and a line right there. And that's all an ear is. It's a really basic shape. You don't need to think too much about these ears. Again, as I say, the ears of these characters are ever changing, so don't worry too much about it. Now we're gonna start doing the top of the head, and I think we're actually running out of time. It feels like we've got not much time. I should probably, next time I think I'm gonna slap the timer next to me so I can actually see how long I've got left. But I think we're doing okay. We're gonna do the roundness of the head up here, and that's gonna follow around. And I have made him quite large, so it is unable to be completely, but hey, don't worry about it. I'll give you a bit of an indicator of how you want to go about the rest of it. Also, when you're doing the top of the head, you're going to want to do a straight line from this point to this point up here. That'll give you the corner, and then you just follow it around. Same thing over here. You go over there symmetrically, and there's the top of your head. They have these really big alien looking heads, so that's how you do the heads. It's a really easy trick. Just do something like that. How are we going to do the next bit? Probably in line with this over here, so we'll just do something that comes out, and yeah, we'll just slap on a big hair strand. I'm going to do a really nice big one because I like doing them big. So there you go. Do something like that. And as you can see, you got a really nice hair going on here. Again, I'm going to refine all of this later on when I do my inking. But the point of this is that we get the basic shape done. When you're doing the pencil sketch, it's never about getting the final result. It's about just getting a guideline that you can follow on later on. But that is looking pretty cool. And I do think we are really running out of time here. We probably have run out of time. Hopefully we haven't. But I'm going to work very quickly now to do this sort of area. So all you want to do here with this is you're just working somewhat symmetrically. Imagine there's a sort of a collar that comes down. So the collar, all you're going to do with this is follow it around, and you might want to add a bit of a shadow to this bit here. And the same thing here, you're going to have another collar that comes there. Top of the collarbone just comes here, a little bit of gap between the two things. It's sort of center points where the neck would come. So the neck would come down to here. So it all flows into this point there, and there's your collarbone. And I am 90% sure we have just passed our time limit based on that. So I think I'll have to stop it and say, I'm going to creep a little bit more in there. All I'm doing here is symmetrically getting these areas in here and doing a sort of roundness just there, and another one for the shoulder over here. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is Goku in around 10 minutes. I think I sort of did it. I think we've sort of got it. So that is the basis of drawing the character. That is the steps that I take when drawing this character and how I approach drawing the character. Obviously, it's not a full breakdown of exactly how you want to draw the character, but it's how I break down this character, how I interpret how to draw this character, and I do hope it was useful to you. So what I'm going to do right now is do a speed jump right into it, and there'll be a few little things on screen just showing you the inking stage and the coloring and any tips that I can give you along the way there. But this is going to be the end of this part of the video. Remember, this is about, because you got 10 minutes. You cannot realistically draw a perfect image in 10 minutes. The point is that you get a strong foundation of the character down on that paper, and that is your 10 minutes well spent. There is our 10 minutes. Really happy with this. We've now got a strong base to go on and do a full-fledged character, which I'm about to do for you right now. I hope you enjoy. Alright, so as promised, I'm using my cheap supplies for the inking and the coloring. And that means for the inking, I'm not going to be using my fine liners, I'm going to be using the Sharpie marker. And given the size of this piece, the Sharpie marker isn't actually too bad. It's okay. I mean, we can get a good job done here, and it does look pretty sweet. I'm getting some good line variations, so I'm pretty happy using this. And I'm also cutting some corners. I don't have to use the black alcohol marker because, you know, alcohol markers, they cost a little bit of money. Sharpies don't really cost much. So I'm going to use the Sharpie to color in the black areas. 2 birds, 1 stone. And as with the theme of this video, I've kept each of these segments in the 10-minute bracket. So my inking took 10 minutes and the coloring took 10 minutes. Now, those of you who have been following my channel for a very long time, you know how I feel about inking. I like to take a very long time with inking because I think it's one of the most important stages of doing the entire piece. I don't really have that privilege here, so the inking isn't the best inking I could have done, but I'm very happy with it overall. And as for the coloring, yeah, so I didn't use any professional markers here. I just used the Ohuhu branded markers, which are extremely cheap markers and they are very high grade. They come in at around $1 per marker if you get some of the lower sets, but if you get the full set, which I do recommend you get, they're a little bit cheaper at something like 75 cents per marker. This is crazy cheap for alcohol markers and they are really, really good. I unfortunately do not have the full set, so that's why I'm limited with the color choices that I've got here. But that being said, I am quite happy to go for the classic Akira Toriyama, the original creator of Dragon Ball, his style. So I got to choose a color palette that worked for that. I think it worked really well, and I am very happy overall. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The drawing is complete. The video is complete. The first episode in this series is complete, but it's not a series just yet. I need you to leave your comments down below right now, letting me know what you thought about this series and any changes you'd like me to make or anything you'd like to see from this series, then please leave those comments down below. A like rating on the video is always appreciated. It is a great indicator of how this video does and what you think about this video. But most importantly, I want to see your results. So tag me on Instagram or Twitter in your results. I really want to see your progress and the video you made or the drawing you made based on this video. I hope I helped you out. I hope you're entertained, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. From myself, from Bob, take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.